Homeworld 3, the highly anticipated space game, is going to be releasing very soon. Meanwhile, you can try it out completely free as a part of Steam's current Next Fest. Check out the link in the video description and you can find your way to downloading this demo, which will give you a great taste of what Homeworld 3 is going to be like. So the new demo features War Games, which is a brand new mode for Homeworld 3 that is entirely independent of the game's story and campaign. We're going to walk through some of this right now. And also, just so that you know, this video is sponsored by Gearbox Publishing. Again, do check out those links in the video description. And do join the Homeworld 3 Discord server where you can keep up to date with all the latest news. So, the new War Games mode has a heck of a lot of replayability to it, even in the demo version that I've been trying out. Now, you may remember I actually published a video on this way back in September of last year where I tried out War Games then. Now, this is a multiplayer mode. You can play it either PvE or PvP, and you'll remember in my previous video, if you watched that last time out I did play this as a co-op mode to take on the hostiles in the environment and achieve the various objectives. Now, as I'm well aware that many of you out there, many viewers of this channel, are huge fans of either single-player games or doing games solo, I wanted to try out War Games to see just how well it played if I actually tried it on my own, and yes, it turns out you can play it very satisfactorily and very enjoyably completely solo. So in the centre of the screen there you could see my capital ship, the carrier. This is a slight step down from the Homeworld's main ship, the mothership. You don't get that during the War Games mode, instead you get the carrier, which has much of the mothership's functionality. In short, the carrier is a mobile shipyard with some defence capabilities. From here we can produce a whole load of ships and we can also upgrade those ships as well. Now, the current demo for War Games has 3 different maps, and you'll play through these consecutively. This is the first map, and like all the other maps, it has huge megastructures inside of it. The megastructures play an important part of the game, and they're there for not only visual purposes, but also tactical purposes. And you can see my ships here using the megastructure as cover to sneak in to try and get to the transport over in the distance. And this is the side of the demo that I've really enjoyed, seeing just how effectively all my units can really use the structures around them, how well they can use the cover. Now, as you go through these maps, you'll see that each time you play them, they'll have a different set of missions or a different set of objectives. The one I tried just now, we had to take out enemy transport ships. On this playthrough, we need to actually escort friendly transport ships. Now, the interesting thing here is that you can use your carrier to tactical advantage. It actually can play a major role in all of your decisions and, well, trying to achieve your objectives. It might be slow, but it does pack a pretty reasonable firepower punch, and on top of that, it's very, very good at delivering brand new ships straight to their target. In this case though, as you can see, I sent off a group of recon ships and interceptors to escort the friendly transport ships. Meanwhile, the carrier was quite content to trundle along behind the transport ships, ready to deliver brand new ships into the fold as and when necessary. And finally, after some combat, the transport ships finally made it to their departure point. You can see here though that my recon ships, my interceptors, are a little bit lower in number than they were originally, so yeah, a few of them did die, but at least they achieved their objective. And once that's done, you can either stay around for a little bit longer, try and collect some more resources at the expense of other ships continuing to arrive, or you can hyperspace out. This will take you directly to the next map. From here, you'll have a whole new mission and some more objectives. Visually, I really do enjoy this second map. I think it looks absolutely stunning, being in the centre of this gorgeous orange nebula with really beautiful lighting. And of course, they've got this megalithic structure that we do need to navigate around. All the ships from my previous map come along with me, and immediately I sent my resource collectors off to, well, collect some resources. Now, as I said, you'll get the various missions here. It can be pretty much random. You never know quite what you're going to get until the objectives are delivered. In this case though, we got another escort mission, and that's quite fine. I'm okay with that. These can be quite fun, and there can be quite a challenge as well, so you really need to plan out your escort team accordingly. Now, in addition to the smaller ships, the recon ships and the interceptors I used previously, you can also see we can have a bunch of frigates. Here we can have 5 in total, and these can be divided between ion cannon frigates. These fire a big massive ion cannon beam delivering a massive punch. We can have support frigates, These are capable of repairing your other larger ships, frigate size and above. And then we got suppression frigates. As time moves on, you'll gain access to a wider range of frigates as well. Another power-up we get are known as artifacts, and we can see these on the top right-hand corner of the screen. There's a little yellow square there that's currently flashing. It's got a number 2 on it. I'm going to go more into artifacts slightly further into the video where I actually activate and start using these. The other thing I want to talk about right now, though, is the new enemy in Homeworld 3. These are known as the Incarnate. So very little is known about the Incarnate right now, other than they are another faction of humans. They have their own goals and their own agenda, and have a very different belief system to, well, life in general. Their story, their agenda, all this will be revealed during the campaign. Now, in terms of their use within the Wargames mode, they cannot be used currently in the demo, but upon launch you will be able to choose and actually play the Incarnate as a faction. And their ships are actually quite different. In general terms, they're tougher than the Hygarian ships, whereas the Hygarian ships are a little bit more versatile and a bit more flexible in terms of their use. Okay, so on screen we're continuing with this escort mission. The ships are currently ahead that we need to escort, and I'm kind of keeping back here and preventing the enemy from catching up with the escort ships, and that seems to be going reasonably well. Now, you may be wondering about other potential objectives that are available in the demo. From what I can tell, they've got these other objectives: scout the periphery, secure the area, escort civilians, which you're seeing right here, intercept enemy transports, we saw that previously. They've also got assassinate target missions, as well as assault and capture. And assault and capture we'll see in just a moment as we move on to the third map within the demo. So yes, the demo contains 3 maps. This seems to be pretty good for the demo, and it does have plenty of replayability. In the full release of the game though, where the Wargames mode will be available, the previous information I've had from Gearbox has said that there's going to be 3 times, more than 3 times in fact, the number of Wargame mode maps. So that suggests at least 9 maps, maybe more. And it won't stop there, as Gearbox are planning on releasing more maps for Wargames as the game progresses. So throughout the lifespan of the game, Wargames mode will continue to expand, and this seems to be a pretty major focus for the game. That's not to say that Homeworld 3 won't have a big story section though, because obviously story and the campaign mode are a big part of the entire Homeworld franchise. As such, the original writer for the campaign story from the first 2 games has returned for Homeworld 3. And diving into that story mode campaign is something I'm really looking forward to seeing when the final version of the game actually arrives. Okay, so we're now on the third map here, the final section of the demo. And this is a hold and capture mission. There's 3 different areas here, 3 different zones that I actually need to capture. And these are essentially hangar bays, areas from which the enemy ships are spawning. We need to capture these and prevent the enemy ships from actually spawning and actually being produced, and then move on to the next area. Now, I'll be honest here, I actually found this mission a little bit on the hard side, and whilst I'm absolutely convinced that I can successfully achieve this mission and complete it, I think it's going to require a little bit more practice before I can get there. You can see my population, that is the number of ships I've got over on the left, very close to the population cap of 30. In fact, I think I've just hit 30. But the general enemy here is so overwhelming to me that I lost a lot of my fleet very, very quickly. So that means I'm going to need to adapt my tactics and approach on the next playthrough. Now keep in mind I haven't got all of my 30 ships here. A whole bunch of them are over currently, well, there's 3 resource collectors gathering resources, and they're being defended by a selection of recon and interceptor ships. And here we are, a bunch of frigates actually coming in to try and prevent me from capturing this area. So you can see currently right now it is contested. I absolutely love that visual effect from the weapon of the Iron Frigate there. That massive laser beam does look really, really good. The enemies then are slowly being defeated. And here, a few moments later, we can see we have successfully managed to capture this area. Now, learning this lesson a little bit late here, something I should have done a little bit earlier on in this playthrough is use the various artifacts. I've got 3 built up here. Each time you choose an artifact, you get from a selection of 3 different ones. and these upgrade your ship. So this one increases the damage by 33% of my interceptors. We're going to upgrade the interceptors again with a second artifact. This is a 10% passive repair, and I think we'll go for the Iron Cannon Frigate Sniper pattern for the third and the final artifact. These artifacts appear throughout the playthrough as you're playing. All of these capabilities actually stack. Additionally, you can see I've still got a few upgrades over on the right that I haven't yet used. I've upgraded the interceptors and the recon ships as well as my frigates, but I haven't produced or upgraded any fleet bombers yet, and the railgun corvettes could also do with an upgrade. These abilities can be used through the interaction and the UI on the bottom right hand corner of the screen, and they can be very good. Ultimately though, I did fail this mission. You can see my carrier exploding pretty spectacularly there. Not all is lost though, because even if you lose your objective, you still gain rewards for your progress so far. And this essentially allows me to start the next mission with different options on my next playthrough. Again, this really does add to that overall replayability. So that's Wargames mode for Homeworld 3. You can try out the demo right now. Do check out the links in the video description, and my thanks again to Gearbox Publishing for sponsoring this video.